Good morning, friends. I hope you have done the sums on trigonometry and enjoyed doing your sums using the trigonometric identities. So, I hope that by now you must have memorized all the identities, derived them properly, made use of it, and found out the sums. Now, here we are going to different type of sums. This sums you will see is a little different. What is the question? Write true or false and justify your answer. Now the question is, the value of sine theta is a plus 1 upon a, where a is a positive number. The value of 2 sine theta can be a plus 1 upon a, where a is a positive number and a is not equal to 1 in this case. And cos theta can have the value a square plus b square upon 2ab, where a and b are distinct numbers and ab is greater than 0. So now, for this question, now this is a different type of sum. It is not a proof that it is true or false and something to do with values. Okay, we have to find the value. So this sum has something to do with values. We have got sine, 2 sine, cos. Now, to know the values, the first approach we will see is the trigonometric table. Okay, what do you know about the trigonometric table? So let us see it once again. Sine 0 degree is 0 and sine 90 degree is 1. Means the sine value of sine, the range of sine means so I hope you have understood what I have written here. The value of sine theta. Now sine can be 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree or 90 degree. So sine 0 is 0 and sine 90 is 1. This is the value of sine theta, 23 degree, 25 degree, 35 degree, 40 degree, whatever the degree is, the value of sine theta will be greater or equal to 0 but less than or equal to 1. When sine theta can only stay within this range. How will you know this? By looking at our trigonometric table. In one lecture I explained to you that sine is an increasing function. What is an increasing function? As the degree keeps on increasing, the value of sine keeps on increasing. Sine 0 is 0, sine 30 is 1 upon 2, which is 0.5, and so on, it keeps on increasing, and sine 90 is 1. And cos is the exact opposite. Cos 0 degree is 1 and cos 90 degree is 0. So this is a decreasing function, but still the value of cos, this is a decreasing function. What is decreasing function? As the angle is increasing, the value is decreasing. Cos 0 is 1. From 0 you go to 90, the cos becomes 0, cos 90 is 0. The value is decreasing, but you can see the range, the value of cos lies only between 0 and 1. So any cos 40 degree, cos 42, cos 67, whatever degree you take, greater or equal to 0, but less than or equal to 1. This is called the range of sine and cos. So what is the range? We have only done till acute angles, right? From 0 to 90. What you can see between 0 to 90, that the range of sine theta is between 0 and 1. The lowest the value it can have is 0 and the highest value it can have is 1. Cos theta is a decreasing function, but same logic. The lowest degree cos theta can have is 0 and greater is it having 1. You can see in the table. Now you can pause the video, open your table and see. Now what about tan? Tan goes from 0 to infinity. Tan 0 is 0, tan 90 is infinity. And cot goes from infinity to 0. Cot 0 is infinity and cot 90 is 1. Sorry, cos 90 is 0. So it is going from infinity to 0. So only these two, even sec and cosec. What you can see about sec and cosec? Sec 0 is 1 and sec 90 is infinity. So the rest of them are going from infinity to 0 or 0 to infinity, means it can take any large value. tan, cot, sec, cosec can take any large value, but sine and cos lie between this range only. All the angles between 0 and 90 degree, sine and cos, cannot be lesser than 0, cannot be greater than 1. Okay? In the future standards you will learn that sine can have a negative value also, cos can have a negative value also. So in the future classes you will know the exact thing that the exact range of sine is between -1 and 1 and the range of cos theta is also between -1 and 1. But this you will get in the future classes when your angles will change. I went from 0 to 90, but when the angles go above 90, okay, to 180 degree, 360 degree, whatever, or you can have negative angles also. Negative angles also you will learn in the future class. So this is not the scope right now. So I am not going to do this right now. This is not the scope. But this is just for you, helping you out. In future you will learn that when the angle goes beyond 90 or for negative angles, sine and cos will always remain between -1 and 1. But just now you have to remember what from our table that sine theta between 0 and 90 degree, lowest value is 0 and highest value is 1. Means sine theta is lesser or equal to 0, greater or equal to 0, but lesser or equal to 1. Same way cos theta will lie between 0 and 1. Now once we know this, we can move to our sums. Now the logical approach to this. Okay. We know about positive numbers. What we know about positive numbers? Any negative number can be made positive in two ways. Yes? Any negative number can be made positive in two ways. You have learned those ways. Suppose you have got -5. Okay? I am writing it 2 times. There are two ways to make this -5 positive. One is to take the modulus and one is to square it. Okay? So this becomes 5 and this will become 25. But what I will do, I will do minus of root 5. So root 5 square will give me 5. The only idea here is what? That when you do a modulus or a square, a negative number turns positive. So in this kind of sums, we are going to use that kind of logic. We'll have to. Now you see we have got a here and 1 by a here. How to get a and 1 by a? So now this is a very important step because here you have to begin the sum, and this sum to begin you will have to take an assumption, which is I am going to write root a minus 1 upon root a. You will shortly see why I took this. Root a minus 1 upon root a. But like I told you, the square of any number is always positive. So either it can be 0 or greater than 0. So are you following the logic? And you'll just see why I have taken this. Yes, it is a very simple thing. When we'll do this sum further, you will understand why I have taken this. I am given a plus 1 upon a, but I have taken root a minus 1 upon root a, but I have taken the square. Why I have taken the square? The square of any number is always positive. So if this number is positive, its square will be positive. If this number is negative, the square will still be positive. If this number is 0, the square will be 0. So there are three possibilities. Which three possibilities? Think again the possibilities. If the difference is a negative, addition we don't know, if the difference is negative and we are given a is a positive number. So a is, we are taking a positive only, a is a positive number, but if root a is bigger than 1 upon root a, the difference is positive, means the bracket is positive. Positive square gives positive. But if root a is smaller than 1 upon root a, then the difference is negative, but still the square is positive. And if the difference is 0, If it is 0, then 0 square is also 0. So square of any number will be greater or equal to 0. Now the next step, expand. We are going to expand this. Okay? So you know how to expand. What is a minus b the whole square? It is a square minus 2ab plus b square is greater or equal to 0 square. Square both the sides. Now what is root a square? A minus root a cut. So what do you get here? Minus 2 plus 1 upon root a the whole square is 1 upon a is greater or equal to 0. So you got this. And the next step, so this implies that a plus 1 upon a, the minus 2 goes on this side, is greater or equal to 2. Okay? Now the value of sine theta will always be between 0 and 1. So the value of sine theta, the value of this is greater or equal to 2. So value of sine theta can never be this, because look at the value. After solving this I got that if this is the case taken, then a plus 1 upon a is always greater than 2. But sine theta can never be greater or equal to 2 because sine theta lies between 0 and 1. So this statement is false. The statement is false. And this is the way you are supposed to do the sum. So again the approach, what did I do? To get a plus 1 upon a, I took the root. Why I took the root? Because I wanted to square it. Why I wanted to square it? Because square of any number is always greater or equal to 0. If the bracket is 0, the square is 0. If the bracket is positive, the square is positive. If the bracket is negative, if the difference is negative, still the square is positive. So I took this and went further. So here the most logical step is to select what to be taken. This is the most important of the step. So it was a plus 1 upon a. So what you will do, you will take the root of both. And since these are reciprocals, can you see these are reciprocals? So I took the reciprocal because when I multiply the middle term, the reciprocal will cut and I will get a number here. So this is false because the value is greater or equal to 2, which is not possible. So this was sum number 1. Okay. Now the sum number 2 also, I will not rub it off, goes by the same way. Again I have got a plus 1 upon a, where a is a positive number. So this is the same sum you do. But now the value of 2 sin theta can be a plus 1 upon a. Now a plus 1 upon a is what is they have told you, sin theta. So in the second sum also the sum continues as it is. Till here it is true. What was here? This is false. Now let us check the next one. So this step you follow continuously. Now 2 sin theta can be this. So if this is 2 sin theta, then further we have 2 sin theta is greater or equal to 2. Means sin theta is greater or equal to 1. Okay? Clear? So from the previous sum, I have continued to the next part. So I hope you are clear. This sum and this sum is not the same, they are different. In the exam we have to do, but I continued because it is the continuing part of the sum. The question asks sin theta is a plus 1 upon a, where a is a positive number. We got it false. Why we got it false? We showed that a plus 1 upon a is greater or equal to 2, but sin theta lies between 0 and 1. Now the next question is continuous. What about 2 sin theta? Can it be a plus 1 upon a? Then we saw a plus 1 upon a is greater or equal to 2. But we want 2 sin theta. So if 2 sin theta is a plus 1 upon a, means 2 sin theta is greater or equal to 2, means sin theta is greater or equal to 1. Okay? Now we saw that sin theta can never be greater than 1. So the greater than 1 part we have to remove. Now what remains? Sin theta can be 1. Okay. So if sin theta can be 1, means this value can be 2. If sin theta can be 1, then this value should be 2. But when is this value 2? So when you get this value 2, suppose you take a equal to 1. So if you put a equal to 1, then you get 1 plus 1 upon 1, that is 1, gives you 2. So this value becomes 2 only when a is equal to 1. But they have mentioned that a is not equal to 1. So if a is not equal to 1, this value cannot be 2. So I hope you are following what I am trying to tell you. 2 sin theta is greater or equal to 2 means sin theta should be greater or equal to 1. Now sin theta is never greater than 1. So we remove that option, never greater than 1. The only possibility is that sin theta can be 1. So this option 2 sin theta is greater or equal to 2 means sin theta has to be greater or equal to 1. Greater than 1 is not possible, equal to is possible, but we check. Sin theta is equal to 1 only if a is equal to 1. But they have mentioned a is not equal to 1, then sin theta cannot be 1, cannot be greater than 1. So this statement is also false. So this statement can be true only when a is equal to 1. But they have mentioned a is not equal to 1. So if a is equal to 1, so this 2 sin theta can be a plus 1 upon a if and only if a is equal to 1. But because it mentioned a is not equal to 1, this is also false. Okay? And now we go to the third part for cos. So again for the cos, we have been asked, can cos theta have the value a square plus b square upon 2ab? Where a and b are distinct numbers, separate numbers, and ab is positive, means a into b is greater than 0. Now when is a into b greater than 0? We know if a is greater than 0 and b is greater than 0, then ab is greater than 0. If a is less than 0 and b is less than 0, even then ab is greater than 0. Are you following the reasoning here? If a is a positive number and b is a positive number, then positive into positive will give you a positive number greater than 0. But if a is negative number and b is also a negative number, then a into b will still give you a positive number. So ab is greater than 0 means either a and b both are positive or a and b both are negative. Okay? It cannot be possible that a is positive and b is negative, or b is positive and a is negative. Because if one of them is positive and one of them is negative, then ab will be less than 0. What they mentioned here, ab is greater than 0, ab is positive. So ab can only be positive when a and b are both positive or a and b are both negative. These two cases are possible. But you will see, even in these cases, if a and b are positive, then a square and b square both will be positive. And even if a and b both are negative, a square and b square will still be positive, because a is negative but the square is positive, b is negative but the square is positive. Means the numerator is always positive. Can you see why the numerator is always positive? Whether a is positive or negative, the square will be positive. Whether b is negative or positive, the square will be positive. Means the numerator will always remain positive. And they have given ab is also positive, so 2 into positive is positive. So the numerator is also positive and denominator is also positive. So cos theta will always have a positive value because of this condition. Are you following? A square positive, b square positive, given ab positive. So positive plus positive, numerator is positive, ab is positive, so denominator is positive. So cos theta will have a positive value only, means greater than 0. So first condition is satisfied, that cos theta is greater than 0. This condition is satisfied when we look at this. But now positive can mean anything, but the range of cos theta is less than or equal to 1. Means it is positive, but it should be either be 1 or less than 1. Greater than 1, it cannot be greater than 1, because cos theta has a range up to 1. So if this value is we know greater than 0. We see how it is greater than 0. It is positive, true. But if the value is less than 1, then the statement is true. Less than or equal to 1. But if it is greater or equal to 1, the statement is false. So how will we check this? The same way we did. Here we had a and 1 upon I had taken the root. Here I have got a square and b square. So I will take, let a minus b square be greater than 0. Now understand this step. Why I have taken? We have given a and b are distinct numbers. Distinct numbers means the numbers are not the same. So the difference of these two numbers can never be 0. So I will take out this. They can never be 0. Why can they never be 0? A minus b the whole square can be 0 only if a is equal to b. When a is equal to b, a minus b is 0, the square is 0. But they have given a and b are distinct numbers. So it cannot be 0. Now a and b are separate numbers. If a is greater than b, if a is greater than b, then a minus b is positive, the square will be positive. Means greater than 0. If a is less than b, then a minus b will be negative, but the square will still be greater than 0. So this is the condition we have. Now let us square it. So we get a square minus 2ab plus b square is greater than 0. Clear? According to condition. This would mean a square plus b square is greater than 2ab, because I took the minus 2ab on this side. And this would mean a square plus b square, when I bring the 2ab down here, 2ab is greater than 1. But cos theta can never be greater than 1. You can see, can never be greater than 1. And this value is greater than 1. So cos theta can never have this value. Hence, this statement is also false. This statement could be true only when a is equal to b, but they have mentioned that a and b are distinct numbers. Hence, this will not be true. A and b are distinct numbers. This value could be possible only when a is equal to b, but because they have given distinct numbers, the square is greater than 0. So this is the last type of the sum in this chapter, and we are going to end this chapter here. Now all we have to do is practice the sums. Okay, this sums you may not find in your textbook, but this can be asked as MCQs. So I have given you the total logic from the table, and I hope you like this sums, and you will need to practice it a few times to understand them thoroughly. So I am going to end the lecture here today, and I hope that you have very clearly understood how to see the values of different things from the table. So these sums are mostly what you can see based on sin theta, 2 sin theta or cos theta. They are not asking tan theta and sec theta. Why? Because tan theta, sec theta, cosec theta go from 0 to infinity. But sin theta and cos theta lie between 0 and 1. So I hope you like this chapter. Practice the sums. Today is the end of the chapter. We have covered all the different types of sums. Now all you have to do is practice them so well that you become very good at it. And those who are taking science as an option, this is going to be very, very useful to them. So make your base of trigonometry as strong as possible. We have a lot of time to work with maths. So practice it as much as possible. Try to cover many different type of sums and get thorough with trigonometry. So I'm going to end here. Thank you.